Jalen Brunson has spoken out on the New York Knicks protest with their loss to the Houston Rockets after an awful call by official Jason Goble. And we are going to talk about that and break down a little bit of an update on this situation. So let's jump right into this, guys. Welcome back to Knicks Digest. It's Chris here. And as I said, we're going to jump right into the video as we always do, because Jason Goble has recently, sucked still at being a referee. And we are yet to see an update with this New York Knicks protest against the Houston Rockets. But Jalen Brunson recently spoke out about it on the Roommates podcast. So real quick, let's just run down what happened again, just in case y'all forgot or missed out on the game, or have just straight up not heard about this. The Rockets beat the Knicks 105-103 a couple weeks back after Aaron Holiday made two free throws with 0.3 seconds remaining after he was fouled by Jalen Brunson behind the three-point arc. Crew chief Ed Malloy said after the game that the contact made between players was marginal and no foul should have been called, so the Knicks are filing a protest with the NBA. The person told the Associated Press on condition of anonymity because there was no announcement. The plans were first reported by ESPN. Then also the NBA said on Tuesday, in its last 2-minute report, the Tuesday after the Monday game, that the call was incorrect, but the Knicks were still likely Knicks will still likely have trouble winning their protest. Protests are for the misapplication of rules or procedures, not for incorrect calls, and there hasn't been one upheld in the league since the 2007-2008 season, where an error by the Atlanta stat crew led Miami's Shaquille O'Neal, that's how old this is, out of a game when he only had 5 fouls, but they said he had 6. The league ordered the final 51.9 seconds of their game to be replayed. Now, just a fun little fact on that we're going to talk about right now. When the Heat filed a protest about this and the 51.9 seconds were being replayed, the Hawks still won 114-111, which was the score in the first place. Now, that is problematic for the Knicks because the last time one of these things happened not only was 17 years ago, but there was no score change. The final 51.9 seconds of that game ended the same way regardless, which is a bad sign for the New York Knicks because it gives incentive to just say, oh, well, maybe the Knicks would lose in overtime anyway, given this game was tied, so there is a difference there. Now, something else to be aware of is that Jason Goble is just a very sus referee, the guy who made the call, because the ref, Jason Goble from last night's game, is an ex-Miami cop, and the Heat are 7-0 when he referees their games. So clearly Jason Goble is not new to holding power, and who knows how he uses his power, because he has kept the Miami Heat from losing a game when he has officiated. Now, the Heat are hovering around 500 this season, so that is a little sus if you ask me. I don't know what y'all think, but if there's a referee who, is from a city, and that city's team has not lost a game this year when that ref has officiated the games, and that team is not having a particularly great year, that's suspicious to me. But Jalen Brunson did talk about this, and essentially what he said is, everyone's saying, oh, why did you jump in the first place? Why did you foul? Why did you contest him? And what he said to that is, if I don't contest and he makes it, everyone's looking like, what are you doing? He's absolutely right. He had to do something to try to contest. The problem was his contest was not a foul. He didn't foul Aaron Holiday. There was marginal contact, as crew chief Ed Malloy mentioned. I don't know how they didn't see that in the game if they were able to announce that right after the game. I don't know how you can manage to screw that up. It feels very suspicious. And because of that, the New York Knicks should get a chance to replay this overtime. The Knicks should be given a chance to play Houston for 5 minutes in an overtime fashion to try to overturn this loss. It's not like one of those seasons when the Knicks are terrible and all the way out of it, so no one cares. No, this is one of these seasons where the New York Knicks are in the mix of it, and they want to get as good of a home court advantage as they can get. Look, they're not getting to the Celtics. They're not going to be the number 1 seed. The Celtics basically have that locked up already, unless an unreal fall off happens. But I don't think any of us are really expecting that from the Celtics, which means the Knicks can get as high as the 2 seed. That's really important because the Celtics have a tendency to just, their best player sometimes forgets how to play basketball in Jason Tatum. The man is tremendous, but then once in a while, he'll just score 7 points for no reason whatsoever that can be explained at all outside of the fact that his idol is Kobe, and Kobe did a very similar thing in his career. But that's a story for another day, for probably a different YouTube channel, because that has nothing to do with the Knicks. What has to do with the Knicks is the fact that they should be allowed to try to overturn this game. The Knicks should be given the chance to beat the Houston Rockets in an overtime. The Knicks probably would have won that overtime considering they had all the momentum in the world, and they should be allowed to try to play for this because it has major implications on the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. Also, the Houston Rockets hovering around that playing spot, it affects them too. Why are we giving the Rockets a free pass and we're giving the Knicks the short end of the stick here when the Knicks desperately need a win? The Knicks need every win they can get at this point. They went on a 4-game skid, and one of those Houston losses was part of that. They desperately needed some wins. They got one last night against the Philadelphia 76ers, which is huge. They're back on track after the All-Star break, which is awesome. But one game does make a difference in this Eastern Conference, especially in this top-middle area where the Knicks are, with the Cavs, the Milwaukee Bucks, teams like that. They need to be getting these wins. And since they're owed at least something, they should get a chance to try to win that basketball game. Now, what Matt Hillman, basically the white guy that's in every single basketball podcast, as the roommates mentioned, you just always have a white dude, whether it's Tommy Alter with JJ Redick, the dude with Patrick Beverley, Matt Hillman. What he said is, I'm not saying whether or not it's a foul. It's just generally not a call you would expect to be made because there's so much on the line. So when it's called, it's like, ugh. Obviously, Hillman's a Knicks fan because his friends play for the Knicks. He's friends with Brunson and Josh Hart similarly, which, I mean, sucks for me because I'm trying to become one of those bland white guys who just hangs out and once in a while says something on a podcast hosted by a professional basketball player. So in case any of the New York Knicks are watching this, especially Mitchell Robinson, because you would kill it on a podcast, I'll be your bland white guy. So hit me up, comment down below on Knicks Digest, or just send me a message and be like, yo, I'm in the NBA. You want to be the bland white guy who once in a while says something because you sound like you know ball? Yes, I do. More than anything on this planet, that's what I want to do. But right now, let's talk about this protest still because you guys don't need to hear me plead for a job. In league history, there have been 46 protests that have been made, and just 6 teams have ever won, and obviously the last one is the Miami Heat. Something else to be noticed of is that upon receipt of a protest, the commissioner shall notify the member operating the opposing team, so the GM or president of the Houston Rockets, I have no idea who that is, in the game protested, and require both of said members, so Leon Rose and, again, the guy who I don't know, have 5 days to file with such evidence he may desire bearing upon the issue. The commissioner shall then decide after another 5 days after receipt of such evidence. It's been exactly 10 days since the Knicks filed this protest, which means we are going to get an answer soon. Now, here's something that's kind of weird to me. The protest filing must be accompanied by a check for $25,000 and payable to the NBA. If the member filing the protest prevails, the protest fee is to be refunded, meaning the Knicks, they paid $25,000 for this to happen. They would get their $25,000 back. If the member does not prevail, the protest fee will be forfeited and retained in the association treasury, according to the league. Now, what does this mean exactly? It means that there's a major incentive for the NBA to say, no, we're not going to, wait, we're going to fly you out to Houston to play 5 minutes of overtime basketball with no fans? For what? So we can give you $25,000 back? Or we can just keep your damn money. Y'all can suck that loss, and sucks to be you, Knicks. That's what the NBA can do. It might be the most financially incentive thing to do, but it also might not be. And I talked about this once before. The New York Knicks, if they get this protest successful, the NBA can make a whole big thing about it because it's the Knicks. The Knicks are good. Jalen Brunson's so marketable right now. The New York Knicks are so marketable right now because they're really good. It gives some more light to the Houston Rockets, a team that is very fun. And it's also just free press for the NBA. You can make an event out of this. You can make an event out of this 5 minutes. You can just media blitz the hell out of this. Sure, no fans are allowed in the building. Says who? Why don't you just sell tickets? 5-minute event. You make a whole thing prior to it. You do a little song and dance or whatever the hell. Make it longer than it has to be. Make us all wait. Make it some hour-long event put on NBA TV or something. Or ESPN. And then make more than the $25,000 that the Knicks paid you to file this protest. Because you potentially can make that work. And I genuinely think the discussion in the NBA is, can we make more money based off accepting this protest or just taking this free $25,000? What is the most financially effective thing to do here? We are going to do what's fiscally good for our brand because we are a business at the end of the day. We're the NBA, we're a business. So we're going to try to act like a business and take whatever is the best monetary outcome for us. And that's what the real question is to me. I don't think there's anything else about it. That is what we are realistically looking at. It's not about what's fair. It's about what makes more money. I guarantee it. So we're going to see that come out probably within the next 48 hours, I would say. And we will certainly make a video when that happens. And I'll probably get really angry at the NBA when the protest gets denied. I initially thought it was going to get accepted. But because of that $25,000 fee and the fact that we've heard absolutely nothing, inclines me to believe that we are going to see this protest get denied. The Knicks are going to take a loss that they probably didn't deserve. The Houston Rockets are going to get a free win because they desperately need one. And Dylan Brooks is not the hardest to market around as a villain. He is Dylan the villain after all. But comment down below what you think is going to happen. Are the Knicks going to be the rare anomaly that win the protest, or is the NBA just going to take their money and run? Let me know down below. Subscribe to Knicks Digest. It means the world to me. Happy Friday, everybody. Have a great day. It's the 13-year anniversary of Carmelo Anthony becoming a Knick. Go watch that game on League Pass if you haven't. And if you don't, like what they're going to say to the Knicks. Sucks to be you. Go Knicks.